At one occasion in particular, he said, don't ever darken the doorstep of this White House. I was a Republican member of Congress. Here was the president's guy telling me never to show up. Because why? Because I was attacking the president. I was critical of the president. I was critical of him because of his stand, because of what he was doing on immigration, illegal immigration in particular. I was critical of him because of the fiscal policies he was running. I was critical of my leadership in the House. Therefore, I was never going to be a chairman. I never, ever was going to be a chairman of a committee or anything like that. But I bring all of this up to you is to tell you this, that in order, I believe, with all my heart, I believe we have the same goal in mind here. Everybody in this room. We want less government. We want greater individual freedom. Less taxation. I want a commitment to the Constitution of the United States of America. The one that the founders wrote, not the one that the Supreme Court thinks we ought to have. I believe in that with all my heart. I believe it was a divinely inspired document. Okay? Not just a piece of paper. I truthfully believe that all of this did not happen just serendipitously. Just by happenstance. I don't believe that all of those brilliant people came together at that point in time, in this place, for any reason other than God really was the inspiration for what we have here. And I believe in it, and I want to hang on to it. And so I think all of us in this room, whether you believe it's divinely inspired or not, the fact is I think we all believe here that it is the right way to govern. It is the best way ever constructed by the mind of man to govern. It's a republic. It is not a democracy. It never was meant to be a democracy. The founders were afraid of that. Because it gets close to mobocracy. And we can see that kind of thing happening. What happens when we get too close to it? When people recognize that eventually they can vote themselves government largesse, and there's more of them than there are of us, they're going to do it. And that's exactly what they were afraid of. That is exactly what the Founding Fathers were worried about. And they saw it. So they created something else, and it's something that I think is beautiful and has worked so well for so long. So if our goal is as I have described it, if you are with me on that, then we have to think very, very hard about the best way to achieve it. If that's the thing, if we could put it up here and write it out, there's our goal: less government, less taxation, greater individual freedom, commitment to the Constitution. If that's it, then how do we go about getting it? And I will tell you that right now, I believe with all my heart that it is by signing up, becoming a Republican, taking over the party, and making sure that everybody that we nominate for at any level is committed to those principles. That's the way we have to do it now. If there was another way, I would tell you, count me in. If there was a third-party movement that I thought would make that work, could make it happen, okay with me, count me in. It's just not that way, you guys. And I fear so much that our desire for purity and our desire to make a statement and our desire to show people how frustrated we are, that we're going to do something that's going to take us away, far away from that goal. And that scares me. Do you know would we not be the happiest people if the day after the election in Massachusetts, we wake up in the morning and we find out that the Republican has beaten? Would that not be wonderful? Would you not be happy? Okay, what happens if he loses by 1 or 2% and you realize there is a guy in this race. His name is Joe Kennedy. He is a libertarian. What would you say to this guy? Would you not want to throttle him? Yeah. What the hell have you done? You don't have a chance. You can't affect the outcome at all. You can't make anybody go, well, see what that libertarian did? By God, we'll show them the next time. It will have no effect whatsoever except this. We will lose the seat She will win it. They will get the health care bill that they're putting through. You see what can happen all the way down the line just because this one person says, I'm going to do this and I'm mad and I'm, all the stuff I feel, believe me, oh my God, do I feel the same way you feel? I am so frustrated most of the time. There was this great, I remember, a senator, I think it was Bumpers, and he was a liberal, but he's gotten very witty, and he retired, and somebody said to him, well, Senator, what do you think now that you're retired? How do you think of, what's life like? And he goes, well, he says, I was just reading the other day about these damn Bush tax cuts, and he said, I was just furious. And I said to my wife, he said, I don't know if I'm more frustrated by being here reading about this and knowing I can't do a damn thing about it, or being in the Senate and reading about it and knowing I can't do a damn thing about it. And I know exactly how he feels because, of course, I was in Congress and people go, why is this happening? Why are you letting this go on? You go, listen, I was trying to have 1/435th of this body, and you think like you should have some, and you should be able to make it all change and all, but you can't do it. It doesn't work that way. You know that. So it is frustrating as heck. I know it. All I'm telling you now, all I'm asking you to do is become part of the party if you are not. Become part of the Republican Party because it's our best bet. And then whomever, your candidates, they're yours. You pick the ones that you think are going to win and they're going to carry that message, get you closer to that goal. That's my message to you. And I'm not doing it as just like, a party stalwart Tom Tancredo Republican. I'm doing it because that's my goal. That's my goal. I ran for President of the United States, and to be candid with you, never thought I was ever going to be President of the United States. I mean, I was pretty realistic about it. I was not delusional. Even though many people thought I was. But I had a goal in mind. My goal was to force everybody on this. I always said the tall guys with good hair, and then Rudy Giuliani got into the race, so I couldn't say that anymore. But prior to that, my goal was to get all those the A-tier candidates, the A-tier candidate, to get them to address the issue, which of course I thought was probably the most important one we had to deal with at the time, and that was this issue of illegal immigration. And so eventually they did, and I think I got to my goal, and we got out of it. But that's it. I mean, I have a goal. The goal is, it's not the office, and I don't want it to be for anybody. I hope not a single candidate that stood up here before you, in their heart of hearts, is not running simply because they want to be whatever it is they're asking you to vote for. That's what I hope is not the truth. I hope and I pray that what they're saying to you is, look, it's not the office, but I have this agenda, and in order to carry it out, that's where I have to go. But that's not it's not just because I want to be a blank, fill in the blank. It's the worst possible reason to run, simply because you want to be that. Okay? Run for the goal. And whatever it takes, if it took a different party, if that was working, if that could make that happen, I'd say do it. Absolutely do it. In this case, it won't. Our only chance to get there is to get into this tent, take it over, elect the people you want, and that's, I think, the best thing you can do, not just for yourself, the state, but for your kids and for my grandkids and yours. So please think about this very carefully. It is a huge, huge issue. And when you run into people, you will, who will say, I just had it, can't stand the Republicans, look what, I don't want like the candidates they're giving us. That's the whole thing. We say, well, who's they? I mean, as long as you don't have if you didn't have a say in this, if you chose to stay outside this thing, and then don't gripe and complain to me about the liberal candidates, the mushy candidates, all the rest. Because you know what? This is the year, guys, we can take this party over. It's the year for conservatives to take this party over. Rhinos are running as fast as they can for the hinterland. They aren't around anymore, not to the extent that they were. It's ours. It's the low-hanging fruit. We can get it. We can take it. This is our best chance. So, just when you meet people out there and they give you a different point of view, say, now listen, here's what I heard the other day. What are you going to say about that? You know, try to argue with them. Try to get them into the tent. Never been